Welcome to Global Affairs Daily. I am Sridhar Reddy. Today, we explore a question: how do media narratives influence the way societies perceive events around them? And equally important, how can audiences interpret information in a thoughtful and balanced way? In modern societies, most people learn about global events through media systems. News organizations, digital platforms, and social networks act as intermediaries between events happening in the world and the public that receives information about them. Because of this role, the way information is presented can influence how audiences interpret reality. This influence does not necessarily mean that information is invented or inaccurate. In many cases, the effect comes from how stories are framed. Journalists and editors must make practical decisions about which events to report, what details to include, and how to present the information in a limited amount of time or space. These choices create narratives that help organize complex events into understandable stories. In communication studies, this process is often described as framing. The same event can be presented from different perspectives depending on which aspects are emphasized. For example, a policy decision might be discussed in terms of economic opportunity, financial risk, or social impact. Each of these perspectives highlights different dimensions of the same reality. Another concept often discussed in media studies is agenda setting. Media organizations cannot report every event equally. When certain issues receive repeated coverage, audiences may begin to see those topics as more important in public discussion. Over time, this process can influence how societies prioritize political, economic, and social concerns. Modern media environments also operate at remarkable speed. With 24 hours news cycles and digital platforms distributing information instantly, audiences can receive updates almost in real time. In fast moving situations, early reports may rely on limited information because events are still developing. As more details become available, interpretations can evolve. This dynamic is natural feature of rapid communication systems. Digital platforms have added another layer to the information landscape. Algorithms used by social media platforms often highlight content that attracts attention and engagement. Stories that generate strong reactions may therefore travel quickly across networks. This does not necessarily determine what information is accurate or inaccurate, but it can influence which stories receive wider visibility. At the same time, audiences themselves play an active role in shaping narratives. People share articles, comment or stories, and discuss events within their communities. In this way, public perception emerges from an interaction between media systems and audience participation. Understanding this interaction can help audiences interpret information more carefully. One useful step is recognizing that information often passes through several stages before reaching the public. Events occur in real world, but the way they are communicated depends on reporting choices, editorial decisions, available sources, and timing. Each stage shapes how a story is ultimately presented. Because of this process, it can be helpful to view news reporting as an interpretation of events rather than complete representation of reality. This perspective does not assume that reporting is incorrect. Instead, it recognizes that complex events often require simplification in order to be communicated clearly. Another helpful approach is to consider multiple perspectives. Different outlets sometimes emphasize different aspects of the same event. Looking at several sources can provide broader understanding of the situation being discussed. Context also plays an important role. Event rarely occurs in isolation. Political developments, economic changes, and social transformation often have historical and institutional backgrounds. When audiences explore the broader context behind a headline, the situation often becomes easier to understand. Timing is another factor worth considering. In fast-moving situations, early reports may reflect the information available at that moment. As new information emerges, interpretations may evolve. This process is common in rapidly developing events and reflect the challenge of reporting in real time. Digital communication has expanded access to information on an unprecedented scale. People around the world can now follow global developments almost instantly. While this accessibility offers many advantages, it also encourages rapid reactions and brief summaries that may not always capture full complexity of events. For this reason, many educators emphasize the importance of media literacy. Media literacy does not require rejecting information or distributing media institutions. Instead, it encourages thoughtful engagement with information. This may include asking questions. What is the source of information? What context is provided? Are there multiple perspectives available? When audiences develop these habits, they become more comfortable navigating complex information environments. Rather than reacting immediately to every narrative, they can approach information more calmly and analytically. Media systems play a vital role in modern societies by informing citizens, facilitating public discussion, and connecting people to events around the world. At the same time, narratives through which information is presented can influence how events are understood. Recognizing how these narratives are formed and learning how to interpret them thoughtfully helps societies engage with information more effectively. That was the analysis how media narratives shape public perception and how audiences can understand them. Thank you for watching Global Affairs Daily. Have a great time.